Williamson.
Here.
Cooley.
Here.
Fleming. Brookins.
Here.
And McGuire. We have 15 present. We have a quorum.
All right. Do we have anyone present for invocation tonight? If not, I ask you to just please stand and join me in a moment of pledge. After which I'll ask the clerk to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are we in compliance with the open meetings law?
Yes, Mr. Chair, the meeting is properly noticed.
Very good. Item number 6 is to approve our agenda. We have a 34-point agenda before us. I have a motion from Mr. Cosgrove, second by Mr. Schoonover. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We have our agenda. Also circulated are the minutes from the June 17th County Board meeting. Anybody have correction? Mr. Frank?
I have a correction on that. I'd like to make a correction on resolution number 2550. It was not my intent to be opposed to that. I said aye at the delayed moment while I was looking through the document for something specific, so that was not my intent to be opposed to that. Please correct it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other corrections need to be made? If not, then with that correction noted, I will declare the minutes to be approved. Item number 8 is public comment. We have 3 folks who've submitted forms to do public comment. And we'll certainly give opportunity for other people in the room too, but we'll start with the folks who turned in the form, and the first is Shirley Welty.
Thank you. My name is Shirley Welty, and I am a resident of Dayton Township. I've also been appointed by the Dayton Township Board to be their representative on the Joint Ambulance Committee. I noticed that there's agenda items number 10 and 11 to deal with emergency services and emergency management. And I'm very concerned about the leadership of emergency services, the staffing levels that are in staffing challenges that are happening there. Additionally, the Joint Ambulance Committee has been notified by the county of forthcoming changes to the agreement between the county and the townships. And as board members, if you're not aware of what the challenges are with emergency services, I strongly encourage you to become aware of them. And I also encourage you to help solve the issues and present solutions to our problems. Thank you.
Thank you. And second up is Mr. Brandon Federley.
Thank you. Many of you know me, some of you don't. I stand before you tonight as 15 days into the middle and high school principal position at Ithaca Schools. I would like to thank the county board for the donation of science and music equipment to the school. It's going to be put to good use, and from the taxpayers of the county to the taxpayers of the county. It's something that is going to help our county and help us as a school. And so I'd like to thank Chair Turk for being there to unlock the door, the Campus Reconfiguration Committee for the hard work that they do, and the difficult decisions they have to make that ultimately come to you. Thank you.
And the third public commenter is Greg Woodhouse.
Thank you. Dear Richland County community, effective yesterday, July 14, 2025, I submitted my resignation as Richland County Supervisor. The decision was very difficult for me to make, and it is entirely due to my recent change in employment. I've accepted the position of Executive Director at Neighborhood Housing Services of Southwest Wisconsin. The duties required for this position are vast and require a lot of time and attention. I feel that the best way I can serve the community is through improving the housing situation in Richland County and Southwest Wisconsin. Safe and affordable housing is needed, and the current situation requires serious attention. My hope is that Richland County and the City of Richland Center continue to work together, as they have been, to solve this complicated issue, and I look forward to working with all the community members, stakeholders, and leaders to improve the situation. I would like to thank the constituents of the 12th District, my fellow supervisors, committee members, employees of Richland County, all of the citizens of this wonderful place that we call home, thank you for your support. I've learned a lot and will continue to learn as we work towards solving the issues that come before us, and I look forward to continuing to work with all of you. Thank you.
Do we have other members of the public that wish to comment tonight? Yes, go ahead.
My name is Ashley Mott, and I am speaking on behalf of the A.P. German Conservancy. We would like to extend the offer to all the county board members to come into our facility on a scheduled date. We would like you to kind of see what we are currently doing, and kind of just have you guys kind of see, because I don't believe Mr. Carroll is in there, but I believe not many of you have actually been in there. So we would just like to extend that offer to you.
Any other members of the public that wish to comment? Anybody online? All right. Then we will move on to item number 9, appointment to various boards, committees, and commissions.
So earlier today, the Committee on Committees met, and they are making the recommendation that Randy Schoonover be appointed to the Campus Reconfiguration Committee and the Executive and Finance Committee.
All right, so looking for a motion to confirm those appointments. Motion by Manning, second by Gill. Discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Appointments are confirmed. Thank you, Mr. Schoonover, for agreeing to take those on. Any other appointments we need to deal with?
Not under number 9.
All right, we'll move on to number 10, appointment of Emergency Services Director.
So I would ask that Barbara Scott be appointed as the Emergency Services Director of the Ambulance Service. She has agreed to a 3-month commitment until a new person could be hired.
So motion by Cooey, second by Severson, to confirm the appointment. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Very good. And item 11, appointment of Interim Emergency Management Director.
So I'm asking that John Heinen be appointed to this position. He was the Emergency Management Coordinator prior to stepping into this role through Southwest Workforce Development Board, and we would like to have him be the Interim Emergency Management Director through the end of this year.
Motion by Severson, second by Cosgrove, to confirm that appointment. Any discussion on that? Mr. Carroll?
That was till when?
December 31st of this year.
Through December 31st?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Make sure we get all the way to the end of the
Yes,
year.
all the way to the end.
Any other questions, comments? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, let's move into our zoning ordinances. Item 12 on our agenda, an ordinance relating to parcel, you can read the number there on the agenda, ending in 3000.
This will be ordinance number 25-13, amendment number 624 to zoning code ordinance chapter 119. The following described 6.23 acre parcel in the town of Richwood is hereby rezoned from ag forestry to ag residential. You have the description before you. This ordinance shall be effective on passage and publication. It is being offered to you by the Natural Resources Standing Committee on June 30th of 2025.
You've heard the ordinance, motion by Mr. Manning, second by Mr. Cooey. And discussion on this, Kathy?
Basically, the existing house with the land totaling 6.23 acres is being split off from the rest of the parcel. The rezoning is easy because it's less than 35 acres.
With the explanation, anybody have questions? No, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The ordinance is adopted. Item 13, ordinance relating to rezoning the parcel ending in 0000.
This will be ordinance number 25-14, amendment number 625 to chapter 119, with the following described 2.3633 acre parcel in the town of Richwood, be rezoned from ag forestry to residential district. Again, effective upon passage and publication, and offered to you by the Natural Resources Standing Committee on June 30th of 2025.
That's the ordinance. Looking for a motion. Motion by Schoonover, second by Cooey. Discussion.
This parcel is being sold to a family member who is going to build a house.
Anybody have questions? All in favor, say aye. 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 Anyone opposed? And that ordinance is adopted. Item 14, ordinance relating to rezoning a parcel ending in 2000.
This will be ordinance number 25-15, amendment number 626 to chapter 119. The following describes 6.9 acre parcel in the town of Dayton, zoned from egg forestry to egg residential. Again, effective upon passage and publication and offered to you by the Natural Resources Standing Committee on June 30th of 2025.
Okay, approve the ordinance. Motion by Manning, second by Cosgrove. And discussion.
This was an existing parcel that was zoned egg forestry, but it's only 6.9 acres, so it's being zoned to the correct zoning district.
Do we have questions on this one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. That ordinance is adopted. And then item 15, ordinance relating to parcel ending in 1100.
This will be ordinance 25-16, amendment number 627 to chapter 119. That the following described 0.6 acre parcel in the town of Westford is hereby rezoned from residential 1 to egg forestry district. The ordinance shall be effective upon passage and publication and is being offered to you by the Natural Resources Standing Committee on June 30th of 2025.
Okay, do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. McKee, second by Supervisor Kramer. And discussion on this one.
This one's kind of an odd one. We're going from residential to egg forestry, but the person, the husband and wife who owns the parcels next to it is a big farm, and they bought this little thing. It was the former cheese factory in Bunker Hill, and they're going to add it to their farm, and then they're going to build a dairy processing facility for themselves and run it as an egg business. So that's why we're going from residential to egg forestry, because they're allowed to do that.
Anybody have questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The ordinance is adopted. Item 16, report on petitions for zoning amendments received since our last county board session.
I think we've got one or two is all, this next one.
Refer those to the Natural Resources Committee. And item 17, report on rezoning petitions recommended for denial by the Natural Resources Standing Committee. None at this time. Very good. Thank you. Item 18 is a resolution approving the town of Ithaca's rezoning of a portion of parcel ending in 0000.
All right, this will be resolution number 25-51. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that in accordance with Wisconsin statute section 60.623 that approval is hereby granted for rezoning the following described 10.9 acre parcel from the Farmland Preservation District to the egg residential zoning district in accordance with the town of Ithaca zoning ordinance. Be it further resolved that the Director of Land Conservation and Zoning shall send a copy of this resolution to the known clerk of the town of Ithaca. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage and publication. Again, offered to you by the Natural Resources Standing Committee on June 30th of 2025.
All right, you approve that resolution. Do I have a motion, please? Motion by Severson, second by Kramer.
And this is kind of a formality. Michelle Wabasha is here from the Ithaca to explain it, but it's kind of passed through.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is a landowner who is partitioning off part of a large parcel to sell the home and keep the rest of the land for farming. So it has a house, they're just partitioning off, and it's not enough to stay in farmland pres, so it has to be rezoned down so that they can close on the sale and move on.
Do you have questions on this one? Again, Ithaca approves it, we just kind of rubber stamp it on the way by. So, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And the resolution is adopted. Thank you. That brings us to item 19, reports, starting with our county administrator update.
All right, I will start with the 2026 budget development started last week. Once the department heads have completed their draft budgets, Derek Kalish, Tammy Newberry, and I will work to prepare a draft budget to present to Executive and Finance Committee meeting in August. The MIS surveys that you completed showed that 12 are satisfied with receiving information on their iPads and 4 are not. One was both a yes and a no. 9 are open to attending a training, and so we will work with MIS and provide some training this later fall, early winter. I don't think summer is a good time to do some trainings inside. I do appreciate all you guys completing them. The Campus Reconfiguration Committee has voted to engage with Short, Elliott, and Hendrickson to take the lead on the campus redevelopment project. This will be about a 9-month process where they will complete a market analysis, review the current site to assess future use, and then engage with stakeholders. The second phase will be to engage with the public to gather their perspective, prepare an advocacy position paper to highlight opportunities for development, and then identify potential funding sources for the redevelopment. They will then create the RFP package and/or marketing information. The final phase will then be to evaluate all the proposals, provide suggestions to the county, and assist in the development of the agreement. The goal is really to have the campus property be a sustainable public asset. So that's something new we're engaging with, and we're pretty excited about it. I do have some handouts by the front door that highlight what they're looking to do. I've also started to explore the option of separating emergency services and emergency management. Part of this is it's really difficult to find somebody who has a specialty in both emergency management and emergency services. Emergency management could be a standalone department or be absorbed under another department. Possibilities across the state are the Sheriff's Department, Highway Department, emergency services as ours was, or to be a standalone department. HHS is another option, as oftentimes emergency management and public health work together. So those are things that I will continue to explore and then take options to executive and finance. Our next Blue Everett group training session is scheduled for tomorrow. It is from 9:30 to 11:30. You can either attend here in person or you can attend online. The purpose of this session is to focus on employee pride and ensuring staff are feeling valued. Department heads, board members, and department leadership have all been invited to attend. Hope to see everybody there. The school district and Mike Hardy from Simons have started to work together on the use of the gym space, and both parties are looking forward to having that space available for programming. Next week, we're going to be starting the configuration for time and attendance in Tyler. This will be allowing people to log in when they start work and log out when they end their day. This can either be on their computer or on their phone. It's about a 3-month process to get us going, so we'll be working really hard on that the next 3 months. And then I'm going to start working on the bidding process for Corporation Council services. Upon advice of Corporation Council, this is something that we should bid out every so many years, and it's been quite a while since we have done that, so we will be looking to do that. Justice on Wheels is going to be coming to Richland County. What that is the Supreme Court travels around the state to hear court cases. The Wisconsin Supreme Court travels around the state to hear court cases. This is something they did pre-COVID and then stopped when COVID happened. So Richland County will be one of their first stops once they resume this service. So we are pretty excited. We had a meeting with them and many different department heads, and we will be working together to ensure that it is a smooth, that the day goes smoothly. So that is pretty exciting. Some campus updates, as Brian shared. Ithaca has been in there and received some property. Weston has, Richland Center School District have all received items, and the Richland Center Library has also been there. And then Ela from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation will be here for a tour of the campus and to talk more about the grant, the $2 million grant that we will be receiving. We just really want to make sure that we're in full compliance of the grant expectations. So that'll happen at the end of this month. And then the last thing is I did put a survey on your space, and I will also be emailing it out if you want to take some time to fill it out. We're really looking at, does this current structure work for everyone? Should we make some modifications before we have the next board come on in April? So your time to fill that out is much appreciated. And that is what I have.
You'd like those by next week?
1 week,
sometime?
yes.
1 week.
1 week, please.
Anybody have questions for administrator?
Okay.
Go ahead.
When you say that they can log in on their phones,
Yeah.
how are you going to know that they're actually at work?
They actually have like a GPS type thing set in there that if I have concerns that you're not logging in at work, I can go on the backside and see where your phone was at when you logged in.
Oh.
It's pretty fancy.
Mr. Engel, did you have a question?
Yeah, not the decision on the emergency services director, but the communication process is where I have a question. My understanding is that there was an incident on a Friday, and then the executive committee met on Tuesday, and then the board was informed on a Wednesday with the press release, the same one that went out. So my question is, there was 5 open days that the board, at least I didn't know anything about it, and the board didn't know anything about it. And there was a lot of community speculation, gossip, flames, etc. So I was asked maybe 10 times by different community leaders. And when I said I didn't know, the next question is, then why are you doing this? You know, or so there was a gap between being able to represent the county in a good way. So I'm not suggesting that details be shared, but I do wonder whether or not there should be a protocol that within 48 hours after an incident that's going to cause community questions, whether or not the board should at least be told something like, look, there was an incident, the staff and the board members involved are fully aware of it, and you will be briefed at this date. Because had I said that to the 10 people, they would have been a lot more comfortable. So that's just a question about whether we need a protocol on incidents like that so that we can speak as one voice, not kind of look like we don't know what we're doing, which were a couple of the 10 comments.
I think one thing that there's staff turnover often at the county level, and so sometimes it's hard to gauge which ones need to be brought to the attention and which ones don't. Oh, okay.
It's instinctual,
I thought you were like
sorry.
stopping me. I was like, okay, I'll stop. So I think sometimes that is hard. I guess what I want to say is, if there is a change in personnel, I will always make sure that the work gets done, that we are doing what we need to do to remain in compliance with our state expectations, our county expectations, but that is something that, yes, most definitely I can look into and think about how do we better roll out the information to cut down on
5 days, given the gossip rumor in Richland Center and how deep it is, can really cause some damage. So that's the only reason I bring it up. And again, I'm not questioning the propriety of it, the professionalism of it, or any of that. Just the communication protocol about being able to speak accurately.
I would direct members of the public who have concerns to contact the administrator directly, or the board chair or the chair of executive and finance, since they're typically informed about major personnel issues. It is difficult. Our policy is not to speak on individual personnel actions, so it is difficult to communicate that effectively and confidentially. So that's why we usually wait until there's an opportunity for a closed session update. So if we sent an email out saying, hey, this person no longer works for the county, just a heads up. But even then, I wouldn't be comfortable sharing any detail for why that happened. So if people actually want to know the information that we can release, they should contact the official sources. My historical experience is that they're not actually interested in the truth.
Well, or they're not going to follow up on contacting those two, and the gossip is going to continue. So I want to be clear with what I said, which was I'm not interested in the details, but other than something like there is something that happened, people are on it, we have our best people on it, just tell them that that's the case, and we'll be briefed soon.
Mr. McKee.
In the same respect, I was asked what happened at EMS, and I said, told them, I'm not aware of anything that happened at EMS. Well, don't you think you should know? And I said, no information was communicated to me.
Mr. Severs.
Ms. Clemens, did you notify county board leadership that day? So technically we're informed through our county board leadership then.
Yeah, I spoke with both Mr. Turk and Mr. Williams.
And as Attorney Wendell said, we wouldn't disseminate details of anything that happened down the food chain. It was something that needed to wait for a closed session, which we did do on Tuesday that week, correct? But, commentary about, getting something out communication-wise officially is well taken.
I actually have a board, the executive and finance on Monday.
Okay. Any other questions for the administrator? Thank you. Next item under reports is legislative updates. Do we have any representatives of our legislators here tonight? We wanted to make provision on the agenda. We determined that our last time when we had a legislative representative here that it's cumbersome to put them under public comment because they're not really talking about necessarily anything on the agenda. So we've created an item under reports that we'll have as a standing item under there for any legislative folks, whether they're federal, state, whatever, that want to come and share anything with the county board. So if we have none tonight, we will move on. Brings us to item 20, discussion and possible action, county board rules related to public comment.
So this was something that was asked to be on the agenda last month. I believe there was some discussion about the 3 minutes, and so we put this on there so that you guys could have some discussion on this section.
So we have it as an agenda item.
Well,
Mr.
since
Engel,
I was
you brought it
one-
up initially.
Since I was one that raised it, I was concerned, I want to make sure that everybody feels welcome in public comments, no matter what their learning style is, their cognitive disability, their strength, etc. The examples that were given last time, people can write it down, they can ask a friend to come and speak as well, they can defer their time to somebody else. Those are all good, positive things. But they're also very linear logic, linear and reasonable. If you have an emotional or cognitive difficulty, sometimes the emotions get to the point where you lose your rationality for a moment, and you forget things, you forget your place. So my thought is if we would have a second 3-minute, non-consecutive, that it would be like a security valve for people. I don't think people would use it all the time. I think it would be similar to the 10-minute rule that the county board members have for speaking twice. It's just a similar process. It's just a nice safety valve to have. And if we look at what's going to happen in the future with the Medicaid cuts and with the SNAP cuts, we may have more people with those types of learning issues coming before us. I just want to make sure that they feel welcome and are heard.
Other comments, suggestions on this issue? Mr. Gill.
Yeah, I still have an issue with the germane to a agenda item. I think we had several comments tonight that you could take issue with and say, were they germane or not germane? So why is that even in there? Why do we need that stipulation?
That stipulation is in there to limit the discussion to things the board will actually be doing. In other county boards where they've had open public comment, people will come in and talk about the state of the world. They'll come in and talk about all kinds of different stuff that the county board really can't do anything about. And so confining it to items on the agenda, it's clarifying that definitely things that the body will be considering, that the body can have influence over, or that would directly impact the business of the county. That's the intent of it. Does that help?
It does, but I still say that like the AD German warehouse announcement invitation, not really qualifies to that. Craig's NHS one, where's that on the agenda? You know, and
NHS one was because he was resigning and he's a board member, and
right.
It was related to.
Not on the agenda. But still, like I say, why have something on there that we're going to be violating because some other county had an issue? And even the twice speaking thing, I think that's also a bad rule, but that's just me.
Other people?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Zuber, go ahead.
When this was brought up last month, I thought 3 minutes isn't very long. But if you got to remember that on the application, we have their name, their address, the organization they're representing, and what they want to talk about prior to they start talking. Now, I understand most people, including me, are not very good public speakers. So if you looked at it as a coin, okay, 3 minutes is not very long. But if you tip that coin over on the other side, how long is 3 minutes? So if you would allow me a little demonstration, I would like to time 3 minutes, and I would like everybody here to have a moment of silence and think of something that you might want to talk about and see if you can get that done in 3 minutes. That'd be all right?
No objection to that, otherwise I got a stopwatch here, I can start in 3 minutes.
The time starts now. Time is up. Mr. Chairman, I think 3 minutes is an adequate amount of time. And I understand if there are people that are going to struggle with their presentation, we're always going to give them enough time to be heard. So I think that the rules should be left as the way they are written.
So Randy, let me respond to that from the people I was trying to talk about. When you first said that, my anxiety kicked in, so the first minute was me trying to settle down so I could think about the question you asked. Then, my ODD kicked in, and I wondered if people were gonna like what I was gonna say, so I had difficulty with that. And then there's all these other dynamics that go along in people's psyches that we don't know about. So all I'm suggesting is that 3 minutes may not be enough for some people. And for those people, they deserve the respect to have another option.
Mr. Wynn.
So that's also an ADA compliance issue. If someone takes the effort to contact us ahead of time and says they require accommodation to utilize their right to make public comment, that would be something that we have to adhere to. So if they were willing to share enough to at least say, it's going to be difficult for me to get through this, so if I could have some additional time, that's something that would be discussed beforehand, and then that additional time would have to be allotted to them. But it does, my immediate argument to that is they have to reach out to us in the first place, and if they're not comfortable with public speaking, they're probably not comfortable with making a phone call or something like that. So it's not a catch-all solution, but there is a mandate in place for those individuals, even without a rules change.
It's another linear, logical argument rationale.
Mr. Carroll.
When the question of public comment came to the Executive Finance Committee back in June, we had more than one possible forum we were looking at, and different places do it differently, but one thing I saw was that one of the options was one that was more open-ended, not specific to what's on the agenda. Now, I would be open to doing that as long as we keep some kind of guide rails on it.
Well, I really don't mind being outvoted, so I'll just make a motion that we have the ordinance get it amended to say 2 3-minute sessions that are non-consecutive.
We have a motion to amend our board rules for public comment to provide for 2 3-minute opportunities for an individual. I have a second for that. Second by Mr. Cooey. Discussion. Mr. Carroll.
I think it makes a lot of sense because sometimes people won't learn the details about issues we're working on until they're in the meeting, and it may make them want to add input towards the end of the meeting after they've heard what decisions are being worked on. So I would be in favor of having 2 separate.
You're talking about 2 items on the agenda for public comment. What we were discussing was just allowing it wouldn't be a separate opportunity on the agenda, it would just be 2 opportunities within the public comment item for an individual to have.
Well, what I'm saying is 2 separate opportunities on the
Okay, but that would be a different motion.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood the
Okay.
motion.
Has this been a problem?
In my experience as chair and vice chair, there's only been occasional times when we've had to enforce the 3-minute limit. Tonight, everybody was at a minute or under for the most part, so I don't know if the temperature of the room had something to do with that or what, but we haven't had huge problems with it historically. I would say that as chair or whoever's acting as chair for the meeting, we should definitely extend grace to those who might be struggling with it. Sure. Because we want to give everybody their fair chance, and if they need a minute to collect their thoughts again before they start talking, that's certainly appropriate.
Back in our original zoning, back to the solar farms, this room was packed. Mark, were you on then too? If we wouldn't have had the 3 minutes, we might be still talking about it. Yeah, there is a time and place for it, but I agree with Larry. And we can definitely, and Mr. Wendell knows that we have certain things we have to follow, but there it was needed. Like I say, it was standing room only in here when we were, and that was just zoning. It wasn't executive and finance, wasn't the full county board. It was just bringing it to the zoning board that we had.
Mr. Manning.
I was just going to make a comment that since this has been adopted, I've seen them go well over 3 minutes. Not like anybody's going to jail them or shoot them or whatever. If somebody's midstream wanting to make a point, you're going to be allowed to make that point.
And the 3-minute amount, Mr. Windley, you were telling me, is something that's fairly standard across other bodies too? Okay. Other discussion? Yes, Mr. Brookins.
I just wanted to say, maybe you can leave it up to the discretion of the chair for, if that person's having difficulty, the chair could just extend them some decorum until they can finish.
I think existing rule does give us that leeway, I'm sorry. So that's good to know. Any other, Mr. Cooey?
I don't disagree at all with the second. A lot of times people, so we're talking about whatever, and I speak for 3 minutes, and then Kerry comes and speaks for 3 minutes, and he sparks something to me that I didn't realize or didn't recognize. I think it gives them the opportunity to go and validate their point, whatever it means. the other thing is, you know, at the end of the day, it's the only opportunity for the people of the county to speak, really. At least in this form, you know, in this arena, for everybody to hear what they're saying, not just what they say to me or to you or anyone else. So the only time that you'll really have to manage it is, of course, is a serious concern, right? And that's what it's built for. That's what the 3 minutes is for. Otherwise, I think nobody would say anything if someone was sitting there talking about whatever. But when we make a difficult decision, you're going to get more responses like that. So I support it. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't know how much it'll get used, but at least it's an opportunity for people to use.
Mr. Frank?
Thank you. So this applies to the board rules. Does this apply to the rules of any of the committees? So the individuals would have the opportunity to speak at any of the committees, because all those committees and decisions come up to here. So there's choice, opportunity one there to talk to the committees when it comes up on the agenda. There's the opportunity to meet with your representative from your area. You have a representative, you voted for somebody, you have that opportunity to do it. Option three, you can come to this committee and have 3 more minutes. There's numerous opportunities to do that. I don't think this should be the end-all of the discussion. Hopefully the people are looking and going, oh, here's a topic that's of concern, this is the committee that's dealing with it, let's bring it up through the process, and then they still have last choice. I'm not in favor of adding extra minutes.
Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Severson.
Since everybody's talking tonight, and I just want to say that I really like the engagement that's happening here with the board. This is what we're supposed to be doing, and we need to do more of it. So thank you to everybody who's making comments and debating. I think it's really good.
Anybody else have comments on this? So the motion before us is to amend our county board rules to give a second 3-minute opportunity to individuals who wish to address the board instead of limiting it to just one.
Roll call.
We've had a request for a roll call vote.
All right, so looks like this time we'll start, we've been at a roll call vote for a little while, so.
Okay.
So Kramer,
Oh.
McKee,
No.
Engel,
Aye, yes.
Hendricks,
Yes.
Manning, Gill,
Yes.
Westberg is absent, Turk,
No.
Cosgrove,
No.
Frank,
No.
Severson,
Yes.
Williamson,
No.
Louis,
Yes.
Fleming,
No.
Brookins,
No.
Pointer's absent, up to Carroll,
Yes.
and Miller's absent, and Schoonover.
No.
Okay, I have 6 yes and 16 no. Or 10 no, sorry.
Oh.
Sorry.
Suddenly
6
we
yes,
acquired extra
10
board
no.
members, yeah. All right, the motion to amend the rules is defeated. That was one specific suggestion. There were others brought up. Is there any other motions related to amending our board rules before we move on from this item? People have talked about the fact that it's restricted to items on the agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I agree. I don't think it should be something that has to be on the agenda. Because as they said, there's sometimes that people need to come in and talk about certain things. So I guess I'd like to make a motion that it doesn't have to pertain to that particular agenda.
We have a motion. Do I have a second? Second by Supervisor Kramer. Mr. Rindle, you had a comment?
Just a suggestion, Mr. Chair, all comments must be germane to an item on the meeting agenda or reasonably related to the business of Richland County.
Okay, so that would be an additional bit of language we could add. Does that address your motion?
Yes.
Does that address your second? Okay, so our motion is to add that bit to our public comment policy and our county board rules. So we, I believe somebody used the phrase guardrails. There are still some guardrails on the topic, but it doesn't necessarily have to be related to a specific agenda item. The discussion on that amendment. All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? All right, that amendment to our board rules is adopted.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
The other thing I wanted to note is we have that form now, but that is not listed in here anywhere. Is there intention to have that added as well?
I think the form is more an opportunity for people to have a vehicle for their comment. It's not intended to be a requirement, so that's why we didn't put it in the rules and make it.
In there, it just says to provide name and address, and I mean, that's what
Yeah,
the form
which
is.
they can do on the form, or they can tell us when they stand up to speak. Either way, we'll accept it. Okay. Any other discussion on items related to our board rules and public comment before we move on?
Well,
Mr. Severson, go ahead.
like, does the public comment form include the ADA information on there for those that need it?
Probably not. I think it's on our agendas.
It's not on the agenda.
Yeah. So we can add an ADA disclaimer both to the form and the agendas, so that people are aware that they have that right.
Thank you. Good question. Anything else on this topic? All right. Well, let's move on to item 21, resolution approving a new pharmacy provider for Pine Valley Community Village.
This will be resolution number 25-52. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is granted for Health Direct Pharmacy Services to provide pharmacy services to Pine Valley Community Village. Be further resolved that this resolution shall be effective upon passage, is being offered to you by the Executive and Finance Standing Committee on June 23rd of 2025.
Do I have a motion? Motion by Mr. McKee, second by Mr. Cosgrove, and discussion. Brittany is here with us.
Yeah, does anybody have questions? Health Direct was the cheapest option. I did create some charts if anybody needed them for cost-wise. We kind of narrowed it down to Guardian and Health Direct. The Health Direct overall is just cheaper on every column. And our Health Direct is leading age recommended, and our medical director has recommended that pharmacy for our use as well.
They provide not just the price, but they also provide the packaging services and stuff that you need.
So they provide our med cards, they provide consulting services, they provide IVs, and we do take IV patients. They provide pretty much everything that we need, and then some, as well as consulting services from our end. They can do IV certifications, educations, things like that. Things we are not currently getting with our current pharmacy.
Continuing with the current pharmacy was not a desirable option, correct?
No, and I don't know longevity-wise for the current pharmacy.
Other questions anybody has on this?
Could I
Elaine,
ask
go
you a
ahead.
question?
You can ask a question.
Hey, yeah, so you compared with the local pharmacy too, and it was quite a bit lower?
So the local pharmacy, we would have to rent our own equipment. So we would have to rent the med cards, we'd have to rent pretty much everything that is provided by, you know, your bigger pharmacies. And then packaging, IVs we wouldn't get for over 24 hours. So we really had to weigh into what was going to be beneficial, and then obviously their pricing was a little bit higher. They do a wholesale price versus the actual, the actual acquisition cost, which we would pay.
So where's this pharmacy located at?
They're actually across.
So the backup pharmacy?
It's going to remain center, correct?
It'll be over there?
Correct.
Yeah, because I'm just concerned, bad weather and
Yeah.
no meds.
Yes, and we've already talked about all those contingencies, what we would have. We have contingency backups with over 300 medications sitting in there, as well as IV backups. So we have everything prepared, and then we would potentially, if we knew bad weather was coming, we would have delivery provided earlier, like a day early or whatnot.
Okay.
Other questions? There are none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The resolution is adopted. Item 22, a resolution approving changes to the sick leave, vacation, and wage scale sections of the Handbook of Personnel Policies and Work Rules of Richland County.
This will be resolution number 25-53. Now therefore be it resolved that the Richland County Board of Supervisors approves the proposed changes to the sick leave and wage scale, we got a typo here. Sick leave, vacation, and wage scale sections of the Handbook of Personnel Policies and Work Rules of Richland County. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective April 21 of 2025 for all departments excluding Pine Valley, which will have an effective date of September 1 of 2025. This is being offered to you by the Executive and Finance Standing Committee on July 8th of 2025.
Do I have a motion for this? Motion by Mr. Cooey, seconded by Mr. Williamson. And discussion.
So the handbook is one of the big things that I'm working on updating this year, so I'm trying to do it in sections. So we're gonna start with sick and vacation. As when we, back in April, started the Tyler implementation, we had to change from getting dumps to accruals for vacation. So instead of getting a pot of money or a pot of vacation at 6 months and every year, we're getting it every paycheck. So we're changing the language to reflect that. One of the other changes in the vacation section that we are working to update is that it is set up in our handbook right now that if somebody is fired, they get their vacation payout. But if somebody does not give a 2-week notice, they do not get their vacation payout. So we are proposing that it's changing that employees who have been terminated or who have not resigned under good terms, so if they haven't given their 2-week notice, that they will not receive their vacation payout. Sick leave, we changed the verbiage to indicate that every pay period out of 24 pay periods in a year, each employee gets 4 hours. And then in the wage scale, this is a new section that we're building in that we last year engaged with David Drones and Associates to set up the wage scale. I am asking that this be added to the handbook, that every January 1, employees are able to move 1 step up on the wage scale. We invested a lot of money to put the wage scale in place. We really should be honoring it.
Discussion, what questions do you have? Mr. Severson.
I think we should consider for vacation with the accrual, putting a cap at some point on hours, whether it's like 365, 3 whatever, because you're gonna start having this bank of money with every employee that we're gonna be responsible to pay out, so.
So how we have it set up is, starting on 1/1 of '27, thank you for bringing that up because we didn't have that. Employees can carry over whatever they earned in that year plus 1 week. So the max an employee could carry over is 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yes, so yes, we did build that in, thank you.
Other questions?
I got a
Mr.
question.
Cooey.
So when a person's terminated, they've already accrued that vacation, right? So we cannot pay that?
Yes.
As long as we have a policy saying that.
That's interesting, to say the least, I would say.
To me, that's like earned wages.
Yeah, that's what I would
You're coming here and you're telling them, like, hey, if you work, we're gonna give you this. And so they're working hard, and then that happens, and then like, hey, that was my wage. You just took that away from me.
State legislature.
The company I work for, you just lose it. You don't ever get it paid out. So it varies from employer to employer.
Drastically.
Other questions?
Well, just to note, that's only if they don't give a 2-week notice, correct?
Correct.
Only if they don't get, or if they get terminated.
Or if they get terminated.
And there is a caveat in there that with the administrator's approval, there can be arrangements that are made. Because sometimes that does happen. Sometimes if somebody says, I have to quit tomorrow because my husband has 2 weeks left to live, we're obviously going to provide them some grace and give them that payment.
Yes?
What if the person retires?
If they give their appropriate notice, they get their vacation paid out.
I believe we had discussion too about termination where if it's like a layoff or something like that versus a negative employment action, correct?
Correct, yes.
So if they're technically terminated, but they were laid off or something like that, then they could still be eligible for the pay. Mr. Severson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Family medical leave. So employees on family medical, and they need to extend that out now. So they've already used up their 6 weeks or whatever, 6 months, whatever, 12 weeks, whatever that is. Now, what happens after that besides COLA and that stuff? Are we going to require them to use up their PTO first?
They are currently, when they're on family medical leave, are required to use their sick and their vacation leave before they can take unpaid time. There's times that they can take 2 weeks unpaid if they're utilizing Wisconsin family medical leave, but otherwise our policy currently states that they have to use all their accrued time while they're on leave.
Is that in addition with the family medical?
Yeah, family medical should pay you.
No, it doesn't. But if we're required to use their pot time, family medical leave shouldn't start until after?
It starts when they need it.
When, just as soon as they exhaust their time, or as soon as you say, I say that I'm going on family medical leave?
Yes.
I was thinking of my disability policy that I have, that would supplement me for my, that's what I was thinking.
That's it.
That's the separate policy I have.
Other questions?
Mr. Chair, if
Go
I may, when I was an employee of the county and I was out for surgery and recovery, yes, I had to use up my vacation time and my sick day time, but also the family medical leave took effect day one, whether I had the time or not. And the reason being, as I was told back then, it kind of protects your spot, it protects your employment if you take FMLA. But yeah, it takes up your time besides the FMLA right on top of it.
I understand that. My point, the point I'm trying to make is a person's going through whatever, and they have 2 weeks of vacation in good faith, and to treat our employees fair, I would say that I wouldn't require the family medical leave to start until they've exhausted their vacation. That's just me looking at it as an opportunity for the employee. Now, you could do it, and there's other people, there's other companies do it other ways. You use family medical leave, you don't use any of your time, and then they could use it at the end of that, or whatever the case may be. That's all I'm saying is that.
The one nice thing, and I have had employees reach out to me when we switched it to the accrued versus the dump, is they have said, okay, the minute I come back, I start earning vacation. Where before, some people, it'd be a full year before they would get more vacation. So this does help them in this respect.
Am I wrong in saying, I worked for Land's End for 27 years, the FMLA, all that really does is protect your job.
Yes.
There's no money involved whatsoever.
Go ahead.
If I can, Mr. Chairman, has there been any discussion on, say an employee is out for extended time, donation? Could other employees donate their time? It's in there.
Yep.
Other questions? Seeing none, then vote on the resolution. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Resolution's adopted. Thank you. 23, resolution approving the 2026 capital improvement plan.
Yeah, we have a resolution for it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go together? All right, so
Okay.
Somebody tell us.
I'm ready to talk about it now.
I can talk about it if you need it.
Okay, resolution 25-54. Now therefore be resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that the 2026 capital improvement plan is approved as presented. Be it further resolved that Administrator Clements is directed to initiate the required procedure to utilize short-term borrowing, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage. This is being offered to you by the Executive and Finance Standing Committee on July 8 of 2025. My apologies. It's the heat.
Okay, you've heard the resolution. To have a motion from Mr. Manning, second from Mr. McKee. And to clarify, this is our short-term borrowing capital improvement plan, right?
Yes, yes. So what we are asking for tonight is that we be able to do short-term borrowing. The projects that we are looking for are in our small courtroom. We do need to upgrade, or we do need to implement technology in that small courtroom. There are funds currently available, so they need $25,000 to be able to complete that project. Our MIS department is looking for $80,000 for a countywide server. At Highway, they're looking for the $500,000 for their vehicles. Sheriff's is looking for money for their new squad, some new squads and some department software, and then Simon's with their HVAC replacement. So those are the items that we have approved for short-term borrowing that we're looking for your approval.
So the total is $1,064,000 that we would short-term borrow.
Mr. Chair, if I may note,
Yes.
there would be, of course, there's some of the fees that go along with that as well.
There would be some fees.
Bond council, Wisconsin Finance and interest, correct?
And similar to last time, I'm assuming we go to a financial institution for this rather than
The flight, my preference would be to utilize Wisconsin public finance professionals to ensure that all bond counsel's done, that everything is, and they handle a lot of that work for us too. It was, I think that process is just much cleaner, much more transparent, much better organized than just going out like we did last time, so.
And there will be a resolution that comes to us to actually do the borrowings.
Right, so we'll have your initial resolution for, in September, and then the sale in October, as we've done in years past, other than last year.
Questions? Mr. Gill?
Just a note that sheriff is misspelled.
We already fixed it.
Good to hear.
Mr. Frank, go
So
ahead.
the Simon Center, 250,000, is there a city piece to that also? Is this, what's that? How's
There
that?
would be a half with the city. I've reached out to the city and they have indicated that they would not have the funds for 2026, but would for 2027. So before we would start anything, we would either have an agreement signed by them that they would reimburse us in 2027 for this, or we would wait till 2027 to do this. I'm also curious, Venture did the analysis of the building, so we really want to make sure that, we need to get input from them. Are we going to really need to do this in 26, or can it wait till 27? But this is one item that we have put off for many years.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Not all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? The resolution is adopted. Item 24, a resolution approving a delegation of authority pursuant to Wisconsin State Statutes 4809.
This will be resolution number 25-55. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors, the Corporation Council shall appear to represent the interests of the public in those matters enumerated under Wisconsin Statutes 48.09, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passing publication. This being offered to you by the Executive and Finance Standing Committee on July 8th, 2025.
For the resolution, looking for a motion. Motion by Mr. McKee, second by Mr. Gill. And discussion.
So this came about, I was assisting HHS with a juvenile guardianship, and it pointed me to the statute spelled out in the resolution, which specifically precludes Corporation Counsel from handling certain juvenile matters, guardianships, some chips and some protected placement matters, which is counter to the intention of the board as reflected in the job description for Corporation Counsel. So the job description that this board adopted specifically states that Corporation Counsel is intended to handle guardianships and protected placements, child protective services matters. This has not been an issue historically because Attorney Forehand is a dual employee of the DA's office and Corporation Counsel, so she could just put her DA hat on. But as I take on more of those duties, get some of this off her plate, I need to be specifically authorized to do that. Otherwise, we risk putting in all the effort to get a child in need a safe, permanent home, and it could get overturned due to a procedural fault.
Further discussion on this? Any questions people have? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And that resolution is adopted. Number 25 on our agenda, resolution approving implementation of an employee assistance program.
This will be resolution number 25-56. Be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted to implement the Employee Assistance Program effective August 1st of 2025. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective upon passage. This is again offered to you by the Executive and Finance Standing Committee on July 8th of 2025.
For the resolution, looking for a motion. Motion by Cosgrove, second by Gill. Any discussion?
So Richland County does not have an employee assistance program. This is something that in my 3 years here has been discussed as a need for the county. We do have employees who do, I would say, pretty stressful jobs with the Sheriff's Department, our ambulance, HHS, Pine Valley. And so I did explore the option, and we can get ERC counselors and consultants to provide the employee assistance program to us. Employees can have up to 8 sessions per incident, and so if they have multiple incidents throughout the year, they can have multiple 8-session blocks. The cost would be $2.58 per person per month, and the county has approximately 285 employees that we would be covered. So to start in August and go till the end of this year, it would be $3,676. So I'm asking for it to be approved for now, and then we will work it into the budget for 2026.
Anybody have questions?
Where would these be done at? Would they be done right here in the county?
We
or-
actually have local providers, so they sent us the list of individuals. They didn't give us the names of the providers, but they gave it by zip code, and there are quite a few local providers, but it could be either in person or over Zoom, whichever the employee person prefers.
Other questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Resolution's adopted. Item 26, a resolution approving the sale of some platinum from the campus.
This will be resolution number 25-57. Therefore be it resolved that the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted to sell the platinum items from the campus. Be it further resolved that the proceeds from the sale of the platinum items be deposited into Fund 32, which is UW Campus Outlay. Be it further resolved that the resolution shall be effective immediately upon passage, and this is being offered to you by the Campus Reconfiguration Committee on July 2nd, 2025.
Motion on this? Motion by Kramer, second by Manning. Discussion.
So when Brandon Federley was taking Chairperson Turk through the campus, he shared with him that there were 4 platinum scientific laboratory instrument apparatuses, along with some platinum wire, little cups, that were found there. We did take it over to the jewelry store down the block, and what they shared is that it would have a value of about $1,300. That does fluctuate every day, but we are asking for permission to sell that because we really don't have a need for it.
Mr. Frank.
Yeah, it needs to go.
We recently just got the gas bill for the campus property from July 1st of last year when the UW system walked away till when we finally received the bill. $36,000, I believe it was. So this will put a little dent in that.
Any gold out there?
No gold. It's got a lot of old computers.
Copper.
Gold. Any other questions on this resolution? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Thank you. Item 27, approval of an ordinance entitled Payment with Coins or Tainted Currency.
Yes, this will be ordinance number 25-7 with entitled Payments with Coins or Tainted Currency. You have the ordinance language there before you. This ordinance is being offered to you by the Executive and Finance Standing Committee on July 8th of 2025.
Okay, need a motion on this? Motion by Mr. Gill, second by Mr. Cooey. And our treasurer is here. You can provide us some background on this. The people actually do this kind of stuff, huh?
They do, so kind of research this. This is pretty standard throughout the state. I've seen instances or heard instances where people have brought in 42 rolls of pennies. And as you know, that's not really fun to count. And so I don't have a coin counter. I don't think anybody else in the county has a coin counter. I would have to manually calculate that and add it all up. And then I'd have to roll it up and take it to the bank. So this is mainly for those that have each department can refuse it if they want to. This is not saying that we won't ever accept coins. It's just for the coins that are it's just unfeasible for time constraints and staffing to be able to count that accordingly. So it's for those instances. It's also instances where we have dirty money that comes in, like a pail of coins within a bucket. You have to take out all the coins from the water bucket. So this is just to kind of cover all of our employees that they don't have to accept that. I don't foresee it being an issue, but it can be an issue, and this is pretty standard, so I wanted to be able to implement that in our ordinances since it's pretty standard statewide.
Any questions on this? Mr. McKee?
Just tell them to take it to the bank and be gone.
Well, if we're refusing to accept it, then that's what they'd have to do. Other questions? And usually it's not like pool water in the bucket.
No, not.
All right, all those in favor of this ordinance, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Moving on to item 28, approval of an ordinance entitled Underpayments and Overpayments.
Okay, this is ordinance number 25-18, underpayments and overpayments. This is ordinance is offered to you by the Executive and Finance Standing Committee on July 8th of 2025.
Okay, do you have a motion for adoption? Motion by Williamson, second by Cooey, and Ashley again.
So again, this ordinance is new for Richland County. It's pretty standard statewide on a scale of all of the counties. What we have and put in place, or what I've drafted here, is pretty standard, $5 for overpayments. That is because I'm cutting checks for $1.52 for tax refunds, and that's just not efficient. It costs $5 to cut a check with the time and the processing, paper, ink, postage, things like that. Currently, we're at $1 under and $1 over. So this is really just for cost efficiency, as well as getting rid of those $1.50 checks that I'm cutting right now. And those are also go on the sale checks, which I normally have to cancel. So that'll decrease that as well. So it's take a penny and leave a penny.
Questions? If there are no questions, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ordinance is adopted. Item 29, approval of an ordinance entitled Dishonored Checks.
This will be ordinance number 25-19 entitled Dishonored Checks. Language for the ordinance is there before you, and again brought to you by the Executive and Finance Standing Committee on July 8th of 2025.
Motion by Manning, for second. Second by Kramer. And discussion.
So again, this is a new ordinance for Richland County. We currently do not have anything in place as far as a fee that departments could be applying for any stop payments or non-sufficient funds. I've been asked multiple times about that, but we didn't have anything in place. I felt that $25 was pretty low considering. There's other counties that charge more than that, but I felt like for our county, I felt like $25 was pretty standard. That's administrative cost and everything that has to go into stopping the payment and then backing on any non-sufficient funds. It also goes into the departments are able to have the ability to charge individuals or refuse payment by individuals that have a history of checks that are no longer good. So they would have that leeway to do that. It would also give the departments the ability to apply future payments with the fee first, so the non-sufficient fund fee first, and then having that payment or that principal be after that.
Any questions on this ordinance? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That ordinance is adopted. Item 31, a resolution approving, item 30, pardon me, a resolution approving free admission to the Richland County Fairgrounds for the annual county fair.
So this will be resolution number 25-58. Now therefore be resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is granted for free admission to the Richland County Fairgrounds for the annual county fair. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective upon passage and is being offered to you by the Public Works Standing Committee on July 10th of 2025.
You've heard the resolution. Motion from Kramer, second from Cosgrove, and discussion.
So I can start the discussion, but Josh is online if I'm missing pieces of this too. So it was proposed to allow free admission to the fair. Number one, it gives more people the opportunity to come. Number two, we really have struggled in recent years with getting people to help at the gates. We will continue to charge admission for the grandstand events, but the hope is that more people will be able to come, more people will be able to spend money in the hopes that that'll help balance it off in the end. This really is going to be the first time we're going to try that, or try this, and so we really like to give it a go and see if that does help.
You know how much used to be the total that came in from that?
It varies, so it depends on the year. Some years I think they have made, and Carrie, you might know some of this better than me because you've been on the committee. I think some years they've made up to 30 to 50,000. Other years it's been less. I think last year was a tough year because the weather wasn't very cooperative.
The other part Josh brought up was that getting people to man the gates was a problem, or is a problem, you know, so it'll reduce some of that workload also. The only thing I would say is manning a gate, I get questioned a lot, especially at senior citizen rate, was always the question, you're charging me $10 or $8 or whatever it was to get them. So, at any rate, I think it's a good thing.
All that information is completely correct. Typically on an average fair event, like the complete entirety of the fair, we generally will make roughly about $30,000 to $40,000 for the fair. Again, for the entire event, we think we can make that on just one night of the demo derby. If we have the grandstands packed, we can make like $30,000 in one night. So again, it's going to lessen a lot of the workload that goes into it, setting up the gates, tearing down the gates, moving stuff around, everybody volunteering their time, taking double shifts sometimes because there's not enough volunteers. And again, just what we hear from the general public, as Mark Pulley stated, that, hey, everybody is just tired of paying to get in and then paying for wristbands. It's just to help lessen the burden and attract more people.
Thank you, Josh. Mr. Severson.
So like Sauk County, they're a free fair, you can walk into that, however, they charge for parking. So if you want to park on their grounds, but theirs is like right in the city of Berryville, just on the outside of there. So there's street parking too, public street parking, you can just walk about. There are examples of this around the state.
Other questions? All those in favor of approving the resolution for free admission to the county fair, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Resolution is adopted. Now, item 31, a resolution to pay bills to the Richland County Snowmobile Alliance and the Hillsborough Trailblazers from the 24-25 Snowmobile Maintenance Grant.
This will be resolution number 25-59. Now therefore be it resolved by the Richland County Board of Supervisors that approval is hereby granted to pay the bills from the Richland County Snowmobile Alliance and Hillsborough Trailblazers for grooming and non-grooming hours through the 2024-2025 Snowmobile Maintenance Grant. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage, and that this is offered to you by the Public Works Standing Committee on July 10 of 2025.
Okay, that's a resolution motion by Manning, second by Severson. Any discussion? I think we're looking at you, Josh.
Sounds good. So again, this is something standard. We do this every year. The person from the county has to be the middleman between the DNR and the Snowmobile Alliances to approve all their hours worked on the trails. And of course, this year we didn't have much for snow, so there wasn't really much for grooming going on. Just the regular trail maintenance, signs going up, signs coming back down. Again, this is not affected by tax levy whatsoever. This is all funds from the DNR through private clubs. And then, of course, you just need the middleman, which is us as a county, to get that money from the DNR to the snowmobile clubs.
Very good. Questions on this?
Just one clarification.
Yes, Mr. Severson.
The funding is from registration dollars through snowmobiles, the state trail pass, and then there's an excise on gas, on recreational gasoline, up to 55 gallons per registered snowmobile. That's where that money comes from. No tax levy.
Very good. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? And that resolution is adopted. Item 32, correspondence. We have no correspondence to report. Item 33, future agenda items. Any future agenda items for the county board that you'd like to see? If anything comes up, certainly feel free to contact the administrator or the clerk or the board chair. That brings us to item number 34. Mr. Manning makes a motion to adjourn, second by Mr. Carroll. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, we are adjourned.